I have never really spent that much time in Idaho. I think the longest that I have spent there is just under a week. Looks like a beautiful state. Uh, I'm not one of those that believe that there are flyover states, nor do I believe that there's unimportant states. I believe that all 50 states plus all our territories are important because there are men and women that are honorable in each one of those states and territories. And Idaho seems to have a problem. I came across an article from ProPublica. Now, ProPublica is left leaning, but they at least try to uphold some journalistic integrity. I will give them that. They did an investigation into the Idaho coroner system, which is a little convoluted. Instead of having state control over coroners, it's a county elected office, and when you're elected the first time, you don't have to have any kind of certification or experience as a coroner. You heard that right. As long as you are over a certain age and have at least the ability to stand up before your fellow county people, you can become a coroner. Now, you have a certain amount of time that you've got to get a certification. You've got certain hours that you've got to have of continuing education after that. But there's not really any kind of penalty if you don't have that. And well, the system seems to be really broken. And I'm going to read to you a little bit from this article because, well, it's not good. If you want to hear what's going on in this country, hit like and subscribe, and let's get into this very sad story.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
I'm going to link this here article from ProPublica down below so you can read it. And it's kind of sickening in a way. Okay. Despite 70 years of warning about flaws in Idaho's system of elected coroners, state lawmakers have repeatedly failed to adopt major changes. A state subcommittee this year began discussing ways to improve the system but has not made any recommendations. On a 2025 state survey and in interviews, coroners have offered up concrete solutions ranging from more autopsy funding to stricter training regimens. Since last year, ProPublica has been reporting on the troubled system for death investigations in Idaho, where a person's cause of death is determined by elected coroners with no oversight or state support and often little training or education. The failure documented by ProPublica left parents without answers in their baby's sudden death and let clues vanish in the death of a woman whose family suspected foul play by her husband, a man later charged with the killing of his next wife. Idaho Office of Performance Evaluations in January sent the state coroners a formal survey about their work, drawing responses from just over half. The office told coroners that it wouldn't attach names to their responses when it made the survey results public, and some gave unvarnished critique. The coroner system in Idaho is broken and a joke, one wrote. They also took the opportunity to plead for help for changes they believe would transform Idaho into a place where death investigations consistently meet national standards. Idaho coroners are elected to an office under county government control and funded by county budgets. Idaho politics have traditionally held the independence of local governments as sacrosanct. which is, that part of it's a good thing, but not for this. This year's state survey and subsequent interviews by ProPublica revealed a twist. Many coroners believe the state's hands-off approach is outdated and harmful, making the quality of a person's death investigation vary based on the county. These local officials want the state to get involved, and they want it badly. Jimmy Roberts of Bingham County, an agricultural area in eastern Idaho, is one such coroner. He worked with two interns in his office to draft a 118-page white paper that highlighted failure points in Idaho's coroner system and described how states like Indiana and Arkansas addressed the same problems. In Indiana, as in Idaho, the county coroner is a constitutionally elected office, but coroners in Indiana are subject to suite of state laws that spell out what they must do. The policies that Roberts highlighted from those states include creating a state training council for coroners, defining in law which cases must be autopsied, raising money for coroners through fees on death certificates, or paying for toxicology costs through alcohol taxes, and giving coroners first responder status so they can access mental health care for themselves and get a supply of naloxone for reviving those who overdose. Still, it's unclear whether ideas like this will gain traction in Idaho after nearly 70 years of warning and inactions on coroners. Governor Brad Little's Criminal Justice Commission has begun to take a look at the coroner system via a subcommittee it created this year that includes coroners, the state police forensics lab director, a state legislator, and others, but no county commissioners have joined yet, leaving the county without input from the people who control coroner budgets. The subcommittee so far has drawn up a list of problems and brainstormed solutions, none of which it has endorsed, such as state fund to help pay for autopsies, a forensic center in eastern Idaho to ramp up autopsy capacity, or mandating autopsies in some child deaths. Coroners are not united in how to make the system better and what it will take to get there. Roberts, the Bingham County coroner, sent his 118-page report to fellow coroners and state legislators via email in October. But Roberts told ProPublica his offer to help the leaders of the Idaho State Association of County Coroners work on reform was met with silence. Tori Danner, the association's president and a member of the governor's subcommittee studying the issue, told ProPublica that his focus this year is on low-hanging fruit rather than major systemic changes. Asked about approaches that have gotten results in other states, he said he wants to review the root causes of Idaho's problems before committing to any specific reform ideas so that Idaho doesn't unintentionally implement Band-Aid solutions in haste. Danner said he didn't see Roberts' 118-page report come through his email box, but plans to read it. Okay, that's just the beginnings of this. Madison County Coroner Sam Budekoffer told ProPublica that when he took office in 2019, the county's budget for grooming snowmobile trails were larger than the coroner's. County budget records confirm that. Under Idaho's current setup, each county sets an annual budget for its coroner's office that estimates how many autopsies the coroners will have to order in the coming year. An autopsy in most parts of Idaho cost $2,300. Small counties with Idaho budget for less than a dozen a year, and a backcountry plane crash and a few unwitnessed deaths on the river as spate of sudden infant deaths, or the rare multiple homicide can quickly eat up the money that was set aside. Lacking the kind of funding other states use to help cover the cost of autopsies, Idaho coroners must decide between foregoing autopsies or blowing the budget and having to justify it to a board of county commissioners made up of elected people. So, yeah, that's not good. And here's another one. Ada County is fully booked in it. Okay. Within the state's medical examiner's office, Idaho has no centralized setup for forensic pathologists to do autopsies. So most county coroners have contracts with the state's largest county, Ada, where Boise is located. For the counties in Idaho's eastern and northern reaches, the coroner has to plan an all-day or overnight trip to the Boise area and the gas and hotel to go with it. Ada County is fully booked with its current workload of autopsies for dozens of Idaho counties. It has just a few forensic pathologists on staff. Its national accreditations limit how many autopsies each of these pathologists can do, a rule that's designed to help keep the doctors from being overworked and error prone but causes backlogs when there's too much demand. Coroners undertook a campaign last year to open a forensic center in eastern Idaho as a kind of co-op with several remote rural counties. The plan fell apart when local commissioners got spooked by the cost. Forensic pathologists, the only people who can perform the autopsies, are in high demand. It takes a salary of about $350,000 to lure one to Idaho. So this is what's happening in the state. Now, there's one other thing. Okay, here we go. Idaho County Coroner Cody Funk told ProPublica uh, this is the guy. He was told, he said that he's done his best. He's been in this office for like a decade or more than a decade. Uh, okay, so you have to be 21 or older to become a county coroner. This Funk fella said that when he got a case early on in his career, that second year on the job, signed off on a cremation of a woman based on her husband's word that she died of Parkinson's, only to learn 5 years later the man was indicted on the murder of his next wife in Texas. With a decade more experience, Funk said he would do things differently now. National experts told ProPublica that Funk should have gone to the death scene and confirmed the Parkinson's diagnosis before he ruled the Idaho County death natural. Funk said more should be done to prepare coroners for the job. So basically, if you're in Idaho, you ain't got a lot of good things happening for you if you die in a strange circumstance or by ill means. So, yeah, people need to know about that. Now, rightfully or wrongly, there is a need that is being shown to everybody. Now, in a lot of ways, by highlighting this, you've got folks that are going to take advantage of the system. You know it, I know it. It's just the way of the world. But at the same time, this really does need to be fixed. And there needs to be people talking about this. I'm not saying that Idaho's a backwards place. It is a little backwoods, but it's not backwards. I enjoyed what little time that I got to spend there. I was in the Boise area. I got to see the stadium for Boise State. I'm a football fan, or a college football fan. I love seeing the stadiums of these different universities. But this doesn't mean that the folks that live there should have to deal with this. And leaving it up to counties to deal with this budget issue makes no sense whatsoever because that corner Funk fella has the perfect idea of why this is a bad idea. Now, if you're in Idaho, hey, speak up about it. Tell me what you think needs to be done in your state. Tell your elected officials what you think needs to be done in your state, and that includes your county commissioners. Thought I'd bring this all to y'all's attention, and don't forget, there's the link down below if you want to fully read that article. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.